Hope this isn't too hot of a take, but I just wish some anime weren't so weird. Just as anime was getting mainstream and normal-ish, the producers of Dandadan had to undo years of great PR work from Shonen Jump by making both Season 1 and Season 2 premieres one of the most uncomfortable I felt watching anime in a long time. And I've seen School Days. In this video, I'll be talking about my gripes with Dandadan and discussing the controversies with the first 2 seasons and author. Initially airing and premiering in 2024, Dandadan Season 1 took off with a lot of momentum, with their opening track Otonoke by CreepyNuts building a lot of hype for the show, setting the tone of a whimsical, fun supernatural mystery taking place against a banger soundtrack. This song was an awesome introduction to the series. The animation looked nice, the premise was fun, and the vibes are really cool. Until the first almost rape scene happens, which came so far out of left field, it actually shocked me. This show had everything I would have wanted in a lighthearted action series, until it had to succumb to the same cliches that give some anime a bad rap. I.e., being way too fucking weird and horny. Let me explain. Anime has become so popular and mainstream over the last decade that it's nice to be able to say that you like anime without people thinking you're into some weird shit. Attack on Titan, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Haikyu, Frieren, Vinland Saga, Hunter x Hunter, and so many more.
I have no enemies.
So many great shows have came out that really exemplify what this medium can be. These shows broke through the noise and into the mainstream, showing what amazing stories can be adapted into animation. But a long time ago, if you told someone you liked anime, they automatically assumed some gooner shit. When in reality, I was geeking because Ippo finally learned how to Dempsey roll motherfuckers into next week. Now Dandadan is hitting the mainstream because streaming services like Netflix picked up Season 1 and 2, and a bunch of normies who may have never seen an anime are being introduced to a show that should theoretically check all the boxes of a good anime, until they unknowingly see an ugly bastard. Fans of the show, including me, have to give content warnings before recommending it or talking about the show with other people. I don't personally read the manga, but people constantly tell me that after the first incident, nothing like it happens again. Until it does. I'll also talk with other fans and they'll say, "The next arc is peak, bro!" And I'll believe them, because this show can honestly be really good and fun, but Dandadan's perviness is something that distracts a lot of potential fans. And at this point, I'm more annoyed by the fans acting like it's not a big deal when it's supposed to be a kid's show. Okay, here's the first major offense that happened in the premiere episode of Season 1 that rang my alarm bells. Everyone's seen it, but spoiler warning, I guess. Episode 1, the context leading up to this point is that after establishing the supernatural like aliens and ghosts exist in the pilot of Dandadan, the aliens want our heroine, Momo's, reproductive organs for themselves. That premise alone was already weird, but they made it even weirder because they practically rip off her clothes and strap her down to a bed. This felt wrong on so many accounts. I get that it was like an alien probing situation, but I hated how the innuendo was implied during the scene, and I didn't like how perverted it was all coming off, like some sort of sick fan service. After this episode, I left with a gross taste in my mouth and a conviction that this mangaka was a straight pervert. This was proven even more with the introduction of another main character on the show, Sexy Grandma, who is our heroine's guide to the supernatural world of Dandadan. My question is, what business does a grandma have looking like this? I don't really mind, but why is the author drawing her like a straight gilf? Grandma I'd like to familiarize myself with. I'm all for raunchy jokes in anime, or mature themes, but boy, this is a kid's show. This anime did not read the room. It feels like an attempt to squeeze fan fiction out of a show that doesn't really require it, especially considering the context that these are kids in a school setting with shonen powers. I could list off a handful of other shows with these parameters that don't feel the need to play into these tropes to be well regarded. I honestly don't even know why I finished Season 1 into Season 2, which is currently airing. Maybe I'm part of the problem, where I see and acknowledge that there's a level of creepiness and weirdness that some anime exude, yet I still consume the media. But they're right though, I mean, like, this shit is good. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that I liked No Game No Life when I originally watched it when I was 13, but after giving it another rewatch in my 20s, yeah, some things in retrospect don't age that well. I probably would have been raving about the show if I was younger, But I'm older now, and it's hard to ignore these things. How many more gross situations do we need to endure to experience peak? If this is what peak entails, is it even worth it? This is not to say Dandadan isn't without its merits. And again, I want to give some praise for the effort production has put towards the show. The animation is beautiful, and the soundtrack is awesome. The anime, after the initial weirdness, is full of wacky subplots, fun, hype moments, and even very emotional and moving moments that make you wonder why the animation needed to resort to these tropes in the first place. This kind of makes the situation even worse, since you realize that this great show is literally ruined by unnecessary fan service, if you can even call it that. That is just so jarring and borderline traumatizing that it's turned off a bunch of potential fans. The annoying part is that something scary like the alien probing or the onsen conflict will take place, but the characters kind of move past it like it didn't happen, or just brush it off. So like season 1 continues on a high note after facing controversy about the overall weirdness of the first episode, but towards the end of the season, there's yet again another attempted assault at an onsen on our heroine, where there's an implied dirty bastard scene with 5 old guys and Momo, and then they just kind of end the season there. The infuriating part about this is that season 1 ends on a cliffhanger where Momo is implied to be in danger of rape, and this is apparently a conflict that happens mid-chapter / mid-arc, and is resolved in a few panels. However, production made it a point to end the season on an event that happened mid-chapter, maybe as a way to boost manga sales. It's kind of scummy to think about, but hey, that's showbiz, baby. So season 2 comes around, and like season 1, we are again met with another familiar trend of implied sexual assault in the first episode. The author thought it would be a great idea to open up the season with another attempted rape scene, only to brush past the intensity and very gross and dark implication as some sort of fucked up hee-hee-ha-ha moment when the house crushes the 5 ugly bastards like a Wile E. Coyote skit and Momo escapes. Like, I'm dumbfounded by the decision making. If you're gonna put the scene in there, make the atmosphere and consequences more fitting, I guess. I don't know. Momo almost gets assaulted by this group of villagemen at the onsen. It is very scary, very suspenseful, but then she runs back into them at the house and it's all played off a little too comedically for the situation. Like, I'm not a Puritan either. I love shows with dark themes for adults. Monster is arguably one of the best thriller anime of all time, and Black Lagoon holds a special place in my heart for how grungy it is.
Give me what?
I cannot speak.
You gonna give me something, right? Well, come on. What the fuck are you trying to say, huh? Quit yapping, you goofball. You gonna give it to me or not? Come on.
Fuck it, I'll even say it. I liked High School DxD when I was in high school. Like I was saying earlier, there's a time and place for trash ecchi in my opinion. But I'm grown now, and as I get older, I realize that some of my favorite shows progressively get more wholesome, like some sort of wholesome bell curve in anime taste. All of this is to say that inherently, these attributes alone by themselves don't make a show unenjoyable. Sometimes I love putting on trash anime in the background, or anime that gets a little freaky, but it feels like Dandadan got a little bit too popular, and I have had one too many conversations with people about how the show seemed cool, but it was just a little bit too weird. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like so many problems in anime would be resolved if we just stopped putting characters in a school setting. In Dandadan, it kind of makes sense since it's a teenage love story, but we've all seen a show that has a cast of kids as a main character, but they be doing shit like drinking or getting lost, or basically doing anything besides going to school. Final thoughts. Dandadan does so many things right, to an acceptable degree, and this would have been a great show that people were introduced to if it wasn't for the weird rapey vibes that this production is intentionally including. Seemingly as a sick form of fan service, and then kind of glazing over the elephant in the room by pretending like it just didn't happen. I hate how this show is set in a school setting, but the author feels compelled to draw the minor characters in very odd and implied situations where it's plain weird to see. It's embarrassing to watch this show with other people, and then seeing that this show could have been so good and even have more mass appeal if there wasn't such a weird culture around some anime and manga tropes. If you disagree, or don't think it's that big of a deal, or think people are overreacting to the controversies, go gather a group of friends that don't watch anime, just normal people. like with 9 to 5s, and show them the first episode of season 1. You'll be hard pressed to find people who don't at least react some type of way with that scene. But honestly, if someone's disagreeing with this lukewarm take, I bet they would find difficulty finding a group of friends to do anything with them. So, where do we go from here? What should you watch if this show isn't for you? What should you watch if you still like Dandadan but agree with my points and want something different? Well, this is easy. Like I've mentioned previously in this video, Mob Psycho 100 is another similar show that touches on the paranormal. It's got the same whimsical fun undertones, has an amazing soundtrack, and I honestly found it so much more enjoyable to Dandadan in a lot of ways, including a refreshing lack of fan service, simply because the story can stand on its own legs, and the author knows that. Hey, even check out this dimple tattoo that I got. Alright, thanks for watching my video. If you watched it this far, like and subscribe. Thank you, bye!